to see you. This is the fifth day of the festival, actually the last day. So we are also a bit sad that yeah, the time flew, and now it's time to say also goodbye. We just watched the last film from the classic section of the festival, KATRINA, which is a classic of South African cinema. I hope you enjoy the film. If you missed it, you still have, I think, 2 hours to see it. So after our discussion, maybe you'll want to watch. So please do. It will be on Festival Scope. And don't forget that at 9:30 we will have the closing ceremony, and also we will announce and screen the short films awarded. Again on Festival Scope, or if you are in Bucharest, at the Peasant Museum Cinema. And now let's talk a bit about the film KATRINA with Cristi Mărculescu. Hello, Cristi.
Hello.
It was an interesting proposition. We just talked before to enter live. So maybe we can also discuss a bit about the context. The film is made in 1969.
I would present a bit the context, but this is by remote from that time and from the situation in South Africa. And I hope I'm getting everything right historically. What was basically happening in that period was one of the strong moments of apartheid. So this film is considered actually a miracle because it was not censored, and it was helped with some public money, because the thematics are exactly against what was the main ideology in the 60s, and especially towards the end of the 60s in South Africa. It is not a film that was created initially as a film. It is an adaptation of a play that was successful and controversial in the period, which was not called KATRINA, but it was called Try for White. And this Try for White actually implies what KATRINA is doing to deny her mixed race heritage and pretend to be a white woman, pretend to pass as a white woman. And somehow it's a love story, because one Anglican pastor comes to South Africa, falls in love with KATRINA. On the other hand, it's a family heritage and identity matter, because KATRINA is very remote and actually in denial about her. It was called colored status back then. Her son, who is also in the film and who is a doctor, is one of the characters who is completely clueless about KATRINA's backstory and his mixed heritage. And it's this fight. On one front, KATRINA goes to see her old and ailing mother back in the very, let's say, segregated, but it's a part of the city where only colored people lived, not white, not black. It was the colored part of the city. And she goes and visits her mother. She's not that much alienated in order to deny her mother's most probably last wish, because she was old and dying. Also, it's the way her son reacts to all this, because it's new to him. He didn't know, he did not suspect. And it's important because this happens in exactly that context. I mean, we expect a very, very critical and political film that does underline everything about apartheid and its inequalities and the terrible things that were happening. But this is actually written by somebody who lived in that era in South Africa, And the apartheid is presented as a state of fact.
If I may add something, because I know from Gert, actually the son of the director, who also I want to thank to him, because he agreed also on this screening. I know from he said that actually the script is written together with the producer. The producer and the script writer is the same person, and is an immigrant, Lebanese immigrant. So it was a very interesting work together with the director, who is also from a conservative family. So an interesting mix that may be used to shape this format of the film. I mean, with these all contradictions, and also not a pledgery for something, but a very interesting mix of things and feelings.
I'm pretty sure that the focus of the play, and it's also, I think, the focus on the film, is the character and her relationship with the others, her tortured relationship with her own identity. And this background, all the apartheid going on, and all the very, very segregated way of interacting in between people, because KATRINA is only welcomed in her childhood neighborhood, which is actually a village. But they also look at her as somebody who, I don't know if betrayed, but ran away and pretended to be white. On the other hand, she is used to have a very interesting positioning about why she chose this. And one of the most heartfelt and I would say both emotionally and politically heavy moment of the film is when she talks to somebody and she says, of course my son doesn't know we're colored, because he's here as a doctor, and if he knew that, if he kept our color name, and if he knew all this, he would have never gotten the chance to become a doctor, which is one of her motivation. The other motivation is this love story. And now that hopefully the people who listen to us saw the film, it's not a spoiler, but this is going to be a spoiler. I must warn you about this. Her relationship with a pastor who's a very good man and who's a generous spirit does not survive him finding out he's actually colored. And that's something very, very, I don't even know if radical, but it's very hard to put in a film where you are tempted to look for some sort of reckoning and some sort of resolution and some sort of things somehow ending well. Well,
yes,
it
is a bit unexpected in this regard.
This is one of the strengths of the film, and it was back then a strength, and it's back now a strength, because it's not just this detail about him saying, oh, you know, I really love you, but you're colored, so no, we're not going to do this. It's also this honesty about the characters. As most well-written characters, both KATRINA and her relatives and her son and all the secondary characters are written in a very, very believable way. They are credible, they are humane. They are faulty, of course. Some of them are in denial, like KATRINA. Some of them are overly optimistic and somehow way too innocent about what's going on, like her son. Others are truly well-meaning people, but cannot pass over this racial prejudice. So it's one of the films that aged well. It aged well because it doesn't start and you're there saying, oh my God, this is so modern. It's like they shot it 2 years ago. No, this is very, very 60s. Everything aesthetically, chromatically. Even the texture of the film they used is very 60s. But it's again a time capsule about some things that were there, and these characters who were forced to confront them without trying to revolutionize anything, without trying to change things, just trying to live in that framework. And this is one of the things that we get a lot from very political films from America nowadays. But in here, it has 3 times more efficiency because it was done in the era. It does not hide anything, but it does not push it so much in front of anything, the political side of it. And also, I would say it's the acting, and the acting that suits very different characters because they are with different backgrounds, with different relationships to their position and situation. And even the acting is slightly different. Some of them go for a mixture of melodrama and naturalism. Others go for some straight-faced realism. Others are just a bit in that artificial, a bit theatrical way of playing. So it's a film that I'm glad you and the team selected it for this festival. It's pretty hard to find and to see, and it's both a perspective and a document of an era, with some clear things that will linger with the audience, because the story is so dense, and the cinema does justice to this dense mixture of random characters and protagonists and all their situation. And I would actually include it in a list of unexpectedly ferocious and very well realized melodrama films.
Thank you. Yes, I heard you. Yeah, unfortunately, Dian Weiss, our delegate for South Africa, couldn't be here because actually he has some shootings, which is also a good news in this pandemic. So someone is doing things, so it's also okay. And thank you so much for all your contribution. I hope to see you also next edition to help us and to moderate. Oh, Dion is here. Just in time before to say goodbye. Hello, welcome.
Hello, can you see me?
Yes, we can hear you. We don't see you, but we can hear you.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. Yes. So hello, everybody.
So just before to end, Dian, if you may add something regarding this film and the importance for you as a, I don't know, as a South African, and if you want to say something about the film and
yes,
or about the director, yes.
Yeah. So why I'm so happy to sort of to be able to show this film, or to get the platform to show this film, is that I really think, and many other critics think this as well, is that Jans Rautenbach is really actually one of the best filmmakers of South Africa, but he's actually enjoyed very little international exposure, especially because of the government in those years censored his work very much. So he never really had a lot of distribution outside of South Africa. So like for me, it's sort of quite nice to be able to show this film to people that might never have actually heard of him before, or seen him, or seen his films. So yeah, I love this film, and I really think that it sort of captures something of South Africa that many people have not seen before, especially the fact that so many of the scenes take place in in District 6, which is an area where where a lot of people of color lived, and then in the 70s, I think, it was slowly bulldozed and they were moved away from the city center. So that there's a lot of moments and places captured on the film that doesn't exist anymore. So for me, I was so happy to show this film because I think it captured something of the South African part of history that is gone for good and for bad reasons, obviously.
So thank you, Dian. Thank you for sharing this film. Indeed, it's a gem, and we are looking forward for the next edition and what other films would you present. So let's see. And thank you again, Christy. See you, I think, in 2022, I hope, yeah. And enjoy the rest of the festival, the screening of the awarded films. It will be at 9:30 on Festival Scope or at the Peasant Museum Cinema. Thank you and bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.